Be good. Ready, set, here we go.
Hello, baby.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be when you're watching this. I hope that song woke you up, energized you, whatever. As you know, always I just try to find something that like, okay, what are we going to do today? And we've typically had a multitude of different songs from REO Speedwagon to the Cult to I don't know, some Van Halen. What's that? Boston
we did
feels like
Boston,
the first time.
Yeah.
You know, some certain things like that. I think we've had a little AC/DC once in a while, but whatever it is that we're old guys still rock. And we got to find those ones that kind of spoke to us back in high school or college, whatever that may be, maybe even grade school. Sometimes I try to find, I'm thinking about a Cars song, but Cars song is just kind of a little different vibe. But anyways, welcome back. We're old guys still rock. This is episode number 27.
27.
I know that we had a little holiday thing in there, so it really doesn't count as an episode. We had a great episode last week with Ken McCumber calling, Building on Foundation. If you haven't seen that yet, definitely go back. Just fair warning on this. We did put that out yesterday. It was a little delay of putting it back out for the reason of I'm a perfectionist. Brent's a perfectionist. I had a hard time because there's just a couple little audio issues. I mean, like 20, 30 seconds audio issues. Really no big deal for as much content that was on that part and all the golden nuggets. And I'm like struggling, like, I don't want to put this out. I don't want to put this. It's going to make us look bad. But dude, that's what the thing is. We messed up. It was really it was actually a lot out of our control. We did everything we could do to fix it. But the bottom line is we fixed it, moved forward. There was some great stuff in it. So when you go back to watch this episode, again, Building Foundations with Ken McCumber, some great stuff in there. Bear with us while you go through that. I tell you, after the first 2 minutes, 3 minutes, it gets a lot better and it's a lot clearer at the end. So, welcome back, brother. You are in LA.
Yep.
How are things out in LA?
Actually kind of nice. We had an inch of rain yesterday in Eugene, so I'm glad I missed that. The whole bloody place is about ready to float away from what I understand. And so it's kind of nice to be in LA, it's 72 degrees. And, I was sitting in the sun yesterday having a conversation with a gentleman that was in Boston. And he said he slipped on the ice this morning on the way to his office. So he was a little jealous of where I was. I do like Boston, but I don't like slipping on the ice down the sidewalk. So,
amen. Or being in rain. I'm not going to tell you what it's like here, dude. It is. Well, you're close to me. You're 2 hours away.
Yeah.
So you feel it. I'm out of contacts this morning. Brent's usually in Eugene, Oregon, doing his thing out here, but with one of his businesses. And actually, that's one thing I want to hit on. For so long, we would get an opposite 27. Besides the body shop that we've talked about there, what are the other business? I have this gnat here, so excuse me for slamming tables.
At least you're not flipping them, buddy.
I'm not flipping them, right?
Nice.
For those of you who do not know Brent Wright, because it's such as Brent Wright Incorporated, we've talked about that, and I've always introduced you as a man with multiple businesses in there. What businesses do you not only own, but run?
So, my most important one is my LLC. It's BWI LLC. That's my insurance LLC. So that's a legacy changing entity. And I'd be more than happy to chat offline with anybody who's interested in that. But that houses about, I'm not even going to say a number on assets, but that houses all my assets, so that way they can be easily transferred through my trust on my exit of this rock. So that's the most important one, because that's going to be a game changer for my family going forward for the next 500 years. And then subsequently below that is I have a body shop, I have a detail business, I have a coaching platform, I have a ranch. I am the CEO and board president of a private Christian school. We've talked about that on here. I'm associated with a payroll company back east, Encompass, and I do sales for their psilocybin and cannabis clients as well as regular payroll who want to be on the iSolve platform. I am the district sales manager for a company here in LA called Payroll Centric, and we have a group of folks that provide payroll services for just your average person in California, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Nevada. We're in about 47 states ish, and we do that. So I've got a plethora of stuff in the pipeline. I do rentals, property management. There's a ton of stuff that I do. And on top of it, my wife's wellness center is coming up online very soon. Super, super excited for that. Not just as a business, but as they say at the Hair Club for Men, I'm not just the president, I'm a client, right? So the reason why my wife wanted to start the wellness center was a plethora of reasons, but for the most part, I've been her crash test dummy for like the last 7 to 10 years. She's been trying all these things out on me to see if they work and see if they can make me better. A lot of folks don't know, but I have 7 compression fractured vertebrae in my back, and I've not had surgery. I take no drugs every day. I take a lot of supplements, and I do a lot of exercise and a lot of wellness and a lot of well care. And so one of the things that we have access to at the Wellness Center is a TRT Softwave machine. It's a therapeutic repair platform. And it's definitely been beneficial for me, and I can't wait to see what it does for my back. Hyperbaric chamber, cold plunge. I've been doing cold plunge for 2 years. Hugely beneficial. So we have about $500,000 worth of equipment that's being set up and delivered over the next couple of weeks at the Wellness Center. So I would tell you, if you're in the Eugene area or traveling through, come visit us. And we're not far from the airport. So
That's good. So that's Brent Wright.
a little bit.
We've talked about it just a little bit. I mean, he just basically gave you like this much of what what all that stuff encompasses. So when we're giving advice or we're not giving advice, when we're sharing stories with you, I just wanted to get a little background on it. I think that's something that we've missed a couple of times in there. So I know this may drag on a little bit for this episode, for that part of it, but I just think that's a little bit more to give you some transparency of who Brent Wright is. As you can kind of see behind me, I'm Blair Armstrong. I'm located in Indian Wells, California. We are Team Armstrong. We are a group of realtors with our licensed broker to be Caldwell Banker. Again, everything is straight behind me. We started this business back in at the late 2019. I wouldn't even really call it 2019. It really started in 2020. We're into year 4 now, and we just looked at stuff, and we surpassed over $38 million in sold real estate in that amount of time. I'm sure that there's guys that are better than me. It really doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's what we're trying to do is make something different inside the real estate. So we are a growing team. We're here inside the Coachella Valley. We super specialize from South Rancho Mirage to La Quinta. That's just kind of where we feel like our bread and butter is, and that's where our clients are. So if you're in that area or if you have any questions regarding real estate, we would love to help you on that. If you don't, you don't. The reason why people like, why'd you pick Caldwell Banker? I'm sure that you get approached by businesses every day, Brent. The reason why we pick Caldwell Banker is we're in 48 different countries, and we feel that there's a bigger impact in the long-term play compared to the rest of the companies that are out there. And at the end of the day, I love you, Caldwell Banker, but it's really about the culture that we're creating here at Team Armstrong. So, and it's the same thing with Brent Wright.
I go back to the old guy stuff. Like, I always, hear your name, Blair Armstrong with Farmers Insurance. Yeah. That's where I first met you, right? So.
Right. I've done that stuff too. I've worked for Costco for back in the day, which we talked about last week. I sold timeshare for a little bit, and with Marriott, my wife and I started.
You killed it there.
Yeah, we did. We had a good time.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Nice.
But that's what brought me here. But my wife and I took over a business, jewelry business, and she's now expanded that into she had a less than 1,000 square feet. Now she just opened up another location. So she has a kids and gifts side of her business, and then she has a woman's boutique side of her business. And sooner or later, we keep talking about this. They're going to be on here, and they're going to share their experiences. So the reason why we're telling this is that when we're sharing stories, we're doing life with you on this stuff, that we're going through the same thing. It's just not that we're some business gurus. We have major successes and we have major failures. And so we just ask that we stick with this. One thing, we will never monetize this show. So our only fee to this show, and I'm stealing a little bit from one of our mentors, Andy Frisella, is that you need to share this show. And two things: share the show because we feel that there's a lot of knowledge in there. Second of all is, if you're in our neck of the woods or you think that you can use our type of business, reach out to us, because your funding our business helps us fund a better show. We're never going to take advertisers because we're going to say stuff on here that probably don't sit right with everybody, but that's life. God made us all different, and it is what it is. So we'll never monetize the show. You'll never see commercials on it. It drives people crazy all the day. Like, dude, I hear this a lot lately, by the way, Brett, and maybe you've heard it too. It's like, dude, you guys are good, and you really need to start doing, like, get sponsors and stuff like that. I'm like, nope. I can't. I have enough people telling me what to do. I can't have somebody control our algorithm and tell us what. It's like, oh, you said the wrong word, or I said the wrong thing. It's that we're speaking from the heart. We're grassroots. We are not a cultivating. We are an organic conversation on this stuff, and that's what we are. So here we go.
We're not everybody's cup of tea, as you say.
We are not, but more and more people are loving this. A lot of people are liking this. It's not just. We're not patting ourselves on the back on this. So again, if you watch this episode, for all our subscribers, thank you so much for being a part of this, and we're going to continue to grow. Keep sharing the show. I'm going to keep sending it out to you. Sooner or later, you'll subscribe or share it, and that's fine. But that's how we're going to grow this thing into this. This is grassroots to help not just Brett and I for our Therapy Thursdays, as we call it, but it's to help a lot of other people out there. We're keeping throwing starfish out there. So Brett Wright. Today, we talked about this a lot. We're going to get back we talked about this a lot, and I'm going to bring this up. So excuse my mic real quick. Share this. All right. So over the last couple of episodes, if not almost every episode, we have talked about men's health awareness. Brett talked about that a little bit. Is like, over the last 7 years, his wife has been using him as a guinea pig, if you may, and how important men's health is. And there's a multitude. It's not just going to work out. It's not just taking supplements. It's not just taking ice plunges and walking on treadmills and stuff like that. There's a mental health aspect. Especially during right now, it's a major problem. Actually, it's been rising since COVID. So we're going to leave this up here. I'm also going to go ahead and I'm going to attach this website to our podcast this week, because we've talked about it, but we've never had really any stats on here as much. And I think what I want to show you down here is this one right here, where it says men account for 75 to 80% of deaths by suicide. And you can kind of see in here, you guys will be able to read this through Canada, UK, and where USA stands. So obviously we're super pro-America, massive patriots, and we want to hang our flag on this stuff like this, and we're also known as the greatest country in the world. But right now, we have a massive mental health problem against men. And it's not just men, it's just, we're counting it out here. There's also women on here. And you can also see down here just a little bit as well, as suicide is a leading cause for men under the age of 50. That's us, man. We're not under 50, but we're real close to that age.
Yeah. And
it doesn't decrease as much on here as well. So the point of this is these coming months, there's an opportunity for us to make a lot of change what's going on inside of America. And it's been talked about for a lot. Mental health is a challenge. As we've talked about even last week, men are silos. We do not know how to share our emotions very well. It's a massive journey for us to do that. Brett and I have talked about this as much. We are very lucky with the wives that we had, that we can have open communication. For me itself, it is still a process. I've been taught through most of my life, and I'm slowly getting out of that, is never let them see dents in your armor, no matter how bad your life is, and just pull up your big boy points and move on. My amazing wife, Chrissy Armstrong, has showed me that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's been a process for me, but it's helped me out tremendously, because I've had some dark moments, and those dark moments are they're still there once in a while. But not only with the help of being in devotionals and God's Word, but my wife helping me through is learning that it's okay to have Band-Aids from life on you and move on. So I'm going to take this off so I can see you, Brent, but
Okay.
or unless you want me to leave it on and you want to talk about something on here real quick.
No, either way is fine. For
Okay.
me, it's been my kids. I mean, my wife is a huge supporter, and I'm grateful for her for that. But my kids, giving them an opportunity to call me out on my crap, right? And so being vulnerable with them, I try to make it a point to be vulnerable with them once a night right before bedtime. And so we do our prayers, and then we talk, and then I share with them how I'm feeling about them, and how I'm feeling blessed to have them in my life, and that God gave them to me to be responsible for, and to guide them, and to coach them, and to show them. And it's not every night, but it's a lot of nights that we end up crying and praying together in happiness, not just in sadness.
Yeah.
And the kids have really driven me to be who I am today.
Right. And I want to say this too, is that we've just talked about how amazing our wives are, and how much I cherish them. And I thank God for every day because of where my life was and how long it took for Chrissy and I to get married. We're actually going on year 7. We dated since 1989. That's a whole nother story. But the point I'm trying to make is it's been a process for her, and it's not been an easy process for her to chip away at my silo. And so there's a two-sided thing to this, and then obviously Brent is going to have his say in this, but for men, you got to learn how to be vulnerable. The stats that we just showed you on here are not lies, and it sucks. Brent's lost some friends to suicide recently.
Yep.
I've lost some friends along the way of drug overdose to alcohol overdose. It's very hard to absorb. And I'm sure that a lot of you guys that are watching this out here, or even women, and you probably have lost some different things like this. Two things, guys, we have to learn to become vulnerable. It's not going to emasculate us anyway. And women who is watching this, and it hits home because maybe your husband's going through some stuff, don't press them to the point that they're going to go back into that silo. Let them come out on their own stuff. So it's a process, guys, and don't get upset. I will say, and it's nothing against this, Chrissy knew how to press me. And there was times that she went too hard, and then she backed off a little bit. But just let those guys who are in the same boat that I was.
It's like coaxing a bear out of the cage, guys.
Yeah, right? During hibernation.
Yeah, exactly. Here's a little something. Come on out.
Yeah. And it's just, it's the more that we can talk about it. And guys, right now, if that's not where you want to be vulnerable, find a men's group, whatever that may be.
Reach
2
out
or
to
3
us.
guys. Yeah, reach out to us. Ken McCumber put his number out last week. So if you want to go get his information, you can go back to last week's episode of, building on foundations. He had an enlightening moment with going on, using his example from last week, had a lightning moment when his son was in town, that his son expected like everything was roses and rainbows, and really broke down and gave a different perspective. So we talked about it at our Bible study. Brett talked about it in his group a couple of days ago as well. Is all we're saying is, yes, we're the resource, and I know that we've beaten this like whatever you want to put it on who, but it has to be talked about because it's not getting better, and no one else is doing anything to try to help this situation out. Money is going to different locations, and it's not a right-left thing. And political BS is political BS. But the problem is we got to start taking care of our own here, because it's very evident. Brent, you're in LA right now.
Mm-hmm.
You thought Eugene was bad, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
right.
This place is a struggle for me.
Yeah, it's tough, and I live in a bubble, dude. So, my bubble is in Indian Wells, California. It's where for a long time people thought that, well, this is where you come to die, and it's actually now a thriving economy. But we still have there's such a massive overflow of homelessness and mental health. They are starting to bust them in here. We never saw that when I originally lived here in '99. I'm not saying that they can't be anywhere. The problem, the point of the problem is we have to find resources with our neighbors and our friends and our uncles and our aunts or whatever that may be. Is we have to start taking care of mental health, so they're not one of those guys or those ladies that are living in a street or living under a freaking bridge because no one paid attention to their mental health. It's not inexpensive to go get some counseling, and I know that's hard for a lot of us because we feel that we're weak, but we have to find something. No right or left, no politics involved, but when we're coming up to an election year, find those guys that really want to start tackling that problem. It's not going to end overnight. It's too big of a problem, but we've really got to start focusing on this.
Yeah, so in our group, I had an opportunity to go to one of my mentors' churches, and they had a gentleman there that was talking about AI, and what I took a lot of things out of that talk. More importantly, I took out of the talk that the world is a very dark place, and it's a very lonely place, and AI is going to separate us even further from each other, and it's going to drive a wedge between communities and between families and between friends, and it's going to sterilize your interactions because you won't need people as much. And so, we talked about AI a few, 8 or 10 episodes ago, but really the crux of it of the talk was not just based upon AI, it was based upon suicide being the solution because they feel alone and they feel that they can't serve anyone. And the call to action at that church was to get involved, to serve, to not have, silos in the church based upon AI and things like that. And I just, when we were talking yesterday, I was like, this is really on my heart. This is really on my head that we need to chat about this, and we need to let people know that, yes, in our other talk about AI, we talked about it creating voids, it creates separation, it creates all those things, and it can be good. It can be hugely beneficial. The gentleman that was doing the talk, he said he created an AI that never goes out to the internet, and he told it to read every history book ever made. And then he allowed it access to the Museum of, the Smithsonian. So he allowed it only access to the Smithsonian, and he had it read every history book ever made, and it took like 7 days or 8 days. And then, so now he has a reference library built in his office to be able to access historical data. And so that's huge. But
that part's cool, right?
Yeah, and here's where the thing happens, though. So instead of him going down the hallway to his colleagues, looking it up in the library and discussing it with a group of people and having conversations, he now has access to every history book and can query the computer. So he doesn't have to go down the hallway to the library. He doesn't have to set an appointment with 6 or 7 other colleagues to have a discussion about this historical event. and it changes the dynamic, and it created a silo, and he recognized that, and that's what he brought to the table. Right? So everybody thinks AI is like, super helpful, super beneficial, or super evil, or super this, but it just, go ahead. It created a situation, and I think you want to talk about that.
No, this is it, because when you first said that, is they created a database. I'm like, okay, there's some great talking points. Now I'm knowledgeable and I can go share this. But you're right. There's like, if I have the knowledge and I'm not sharing it, what's the point of having the knowledge, right?
Right.
It's a whole premise to it. Is this? It's what community. It's why God created the tower when the Tower of Babel, right? Because everybody was doing the same thing, but all speaking the same language. So he broke it apart so we learn how to communicate in a different way, and how his view of that knowledge that he received from reading all these history books, and now have a talk.
Yeah.
So that's as you know, guys, I'm not a big fan of AI. I think there's special purposes to it. I've stated it. You can debate with me all you want, but I'm right along with Brent. I'm right along with a lot of other people. Is convenience is really nice, but look at where it's getting to us. I was actually thinking about this on my walk today. It is, how easy is it for us to go ahead and get some plastic storage containers from our couch, where realistically we could go down to your local Ace Hardware that has maybe 20 employees and go get the same storage stuff, but have interaction with people, because now you're talking to somebody on there. I know that doesn't seem like a big deal, but maybe that person needed that conversation that day of a, hey, how you doing, or how's your day? Well, we don't have that interaction with this. So convenience has become an unnecessary evil in so many different ways. I use it. My wife uses it, Brent uses it, and stuff like this but we've become so accustomed to it. What's next? Now we have AI. Now I don't have to talk to anybody. Now I can put on virtual glasses and pretend that I'm in reality when it's fake. That flopped actually a little bit, because they tried to sell it with like virtual real estate, right? And that lasted for about 6 months, and everybody's like, okay, virtual real estate's going to be the next biggest thing. Anybody that has this influencer status, 99% of them are, FOS, and you can figure out what I'm trying to say that. But so anyway, but I think that's important, and I'm going to carry on with that too, with how important conversation is today. I was leaving working out today, and I told this to Brent a little bit earlier, and as I was pulling out, one of my clients' friends, and in essence, a little mentor of mine, is this 80-year-old man named Roger Rosenberg. So, Roger, I told you, I mentioned you on this podcast because it was so impactful. So, we were talking about, it's like so many different things that we've talked about in the episode, is when you say hi to somebody, he's like, I was just cruising down this, did you see that lady back there? And I said, yeah. And he goes, I said hi to her all the time, and she just looks me off. I'm like, oh my God, that drives me crazy when you say hi to somebody and they can't pick up, at least say like this, or pretend that you're not there, or if you open a door and no one says thank you, or if you're walking behind somebody and someone hits the door and just let the door slam in your face but still holding out to it, is just because something's going on in their life, whatever that may be. Maybe they're just in a moment, but for the most part, as we become so disassociated with other people, in essence, what we were talking about with the AI, we forgot how to interact with other people, because it's all about us, and we lost a sense of community. So there's an episode that we called Penny in Your Pocket. Here's my penny in here. And got you, son of a gun.
I had to take mine out because I couldn't carry it on the dang plane.
Oh, that's true, right? Can't have change in your pocket.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go off another tangent. And so Roger goes, I love this idea. There's other compliments in there that are irrelevant at this time. But he goes, well, yeah, if you keep your penny in your pocket and you constantly telling me about how pursuing excellence, why can't you take that penny and put a nickel in your pocket? Instead of one person, say hi to 5 people.
Roger called us
when
out.
You're done with, yeah, he did, man. This is as good as better. He goes, and then after you do that for a while, you've accomplished, you reached your goal, right? He said, yeah. He goes, why can't you put a dime in your pocket? Okay? And as you know where I'm going to go to next, and you say hi to that, but how hard is it to say hi or impact 25 people's life every day? And I was like, dude,
Roger,
amen.
I'm super grateful
Roger,
for
thank
you.
you. Yeah. And he goes, Blair, you tell me so many great things. I can't believe you didn't recognize this. Because that's the point I'm talking about, Roger, is we forgot how to communicate. And just because we have one good idea doesn't mean someone else doesn't know how to expand it.
Yeah.
There's this 80-year-old guy who is living the life of a 60-year-old guy, has multiple properties, has a couple businesses, would never know that he has even a penny in his pocket to spend, and is very well-to-do, doesn't have to work today. Got bored 2 years ago and like, I got to find something to do. Again, does not need any money whatsoever, and decided that he was going to go sell golf cart batteries and golf cart tires, and killing the guys that are 35 and 40 years old trying to do the same thing. Why? Because he knows how to communicate. And that's what life is all about. Just knows how to communicate, makes a friend with everybody. And it's just a beautiful thing. So Roger, thank you for making my penny to someday get it into a quarter. Right now, I think I'm right at a nickel. Is what we've done a couple different things in our office a while back. We've lost focus. We're bringing that back, and our whole point is that we're going to contact 5 people a day, not asking them for business. Hey, how you doing? Or I was thinking about you. I have a good day. That's it. There's no sales in it. There's no I hope this gets some return. The point is, it's in my mindset. Not only do we make that change right now, again, these are just ideas for you guys. Brent has some stuff that is coming up as well, but we also I had a dry erase board. Mm-hmm. And on the top of it, I wrote, I am grateful for ... And every morning that we walk into the office, we write down what we're grateful for. Because I was finding myself coming into the office like, that mother trucker, and I'm in over this negative, dude, it's 8 o'clock in the morning and I'm already negative. That sucks. How am I supposed to go ahead and make the penny an impact if I'm already negative? So it's mindset. And you actually posted something on mindset. I don't know if it was yesterday or today. I can't remember. You put out so much great stuff in there.
Yeah.
So, but, you've been really good at that lately. And it's not only, I think most of it's for you.
It is. It's 100%.
Right?
I tell people all the time. I had a talk with a guy last week. He called me out and he's like, "Hey, did you posted this and was it about me? Was it meant to pick at me?" I'm like, I can appreciate your thoughts. I can appreciate you feeling like, you are that important in my life. But man, seriously, like, it's not about you, buddy. I posted this because it was a reminder to me that I needed to take action. I use my social media to remind me. Mm-hmm. That's it. These are reminders for me. The mindset one yesterday was huge for me. Mm-hmm. I will win.
It's big.
I mean, yeah. That's one of the statements on that mindset chart was I will win, and it's the I in mindset, right? And so, right. And a win is categorized for each person differently. A lot of people categorize wins as financially. For me, it's just getting out of my comfort zone. It's getting, it's not getting accolades. It's not doing any of those things. It's literally winning is mindset for me, is being able to push through the difficult times, being able to push through the difficult thoughts, right? Because anybody that you've ever known that's been successful, they are either mildly psychopathic, they're mildly, socially inept, they're mildly probably a whole bunch of things, right? Because they have to be on the fringe to drive that. It's what drives them to success. So Roger is probably likely a little bit OCD, a little bit ADD, right? And a little bit just isn't satisfied with the status quo, right? And
No.
so, and a lot of people would consider those to be, debilitating. But yet Rogers turned them around and used them as strengths, where other people might
Yeah.
see them as weaknesses. So,
Yeah.
that's what my social's for, and that's the postings that I utilize them for me. And if you get
Yeah.
and back to the penny thing, if one person gets something out of it, I'm hoping 25 people get something out of it. But if one
Amen.
person gets something out of it, that's where I win. I actually had a gentleman about 3 or 4 months ago. I slowed down my posting of stuff. Just got busy, didn't have time to deal with it. It is a low-level communication tool for me, hugely low level, like it's subterranean if I had to measure it. And so although important, it's not the most important thing in my day. And so I only schedule 5 minutes at the top of every hour, and if I don't have time, then I move to the top of the next hour, and if I don't have time, then I just don't. And so I didn't put something out for a couple of days, and he actually called me and wanted to know if I was okay. And
That's cool.
And I said, well, yeah, but I said, tell me more about that. What's going on? He goes, sometimes just the one post that you put out keeps me from thinking bad thoughts. Right? So to tie, you saw how I tied all that back in
Yeah.
to, my posts are keeping him from taking himself out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he called me to tell me that. And he said, keep going. You never know who's watching. Keep going.
Yeah.
Be the example that you've been, because it's kept me from killing myself.
This is so good, and it's just and I think I'm be a little somber on that for a second, but but in a happy somber way, you just kind of hit why we do this.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just
And he's 56, dude. And
Right.
he's retired, and he has hundreds of millions of dollars, and he's got younger children. I mean, they're in college age and high school, and he's got a beautiful wife and a beautiful family and a beautiful piece of property, and owns a ton of stuff, and he's just every day struggling.
dude, life. Let's face it, guys. Life effing sucks sometimes. But after the journey that Brent and I have been through, from living in a 10 by 10 box that I lived in for a little bit because I made some bad decisions, and thank God for my friendship with Brent and some other people that I surrounded myself to get through this. Brent living in his truck for a little bit. Life is not always roses, and some part in your career you're going to crash and burn. It's going to happen, but it does not make you suck at all. It makes you great. And when that time comes, like what Brenton was saying like this, and the friends that I've lost, that life was just too much and they didn't know how to get out of it because they didn't learn to lose their armor, is there's opportunities for you to know that people suck. People have gone through failures as well. And it's not, at the end of the day, is we are here for you. There's plenty of resources for you. Every guy that's subscribed to this channel, I can make the John Swensons, the Chris Dubois, the Ken Johnsons, the Ken McCumbers, the Brent Wrights. The list goes on and on and on. The April Wrights, the Chrissy Armstrongs, her group of women. There is a plethora of resources that follow not only Old Guys Still Rock and Team Armstrong and Brent Wright Inc. There's a spider web behind this thing to it, but when people ask us, why do you do this? Exactly what we talked about today is why we freaking do this, is because we freaking care, and we know that life is horribly shitty sometimes right now, regardless of what you say when I call you on the phone. Oh, life is great. I get it, and I hope that it is, but if you are struggling in any way, just no one's ever going to know if you call me. No one's ever going to know if you call Brent. If you want to share some stuff with this, there's a reason why people reach out to Brent. There's a reason why they reach out to me. And it took me a long time trying to figure out. For a long time, it's like, I don't know what it is, Chrissy. It's like, I get around these people, and all of a sudden I hear their life story. Like within the first 20 minutes I meet them.
Feel like a bartender.
Right?
Yeah.
And this is before this, what we got to. It's become more and more lately. But it's come to my realization that's why God gave me something, and I'm still trying to figure it out, why people feel comfortable to sharing their story with me. Why people share their story with Brent. So, this whole thing, we're going to kind of wrap this up because all of us got something to do today. We got to go give a nickel today. But the whole point of why we do this and why I tell everybody this is because we forgot how to communicate. And we are going to beat this drum to death, is that we have to learn to come across aisles. I don't care what your views are socially. I really don't give an ish of what your views are politically. There is a medium, a middle ground that we can disagree to agree.
Yep.
Or agree to disagree, whatever you want to put it onto it. But the problem is just because that you feel like you're in this camp doesn't mean that you can't interact with a different camp.
Yep.
It's kind of like summer camp, right? You put you in different groups, but at the end of the day, you all came together and shared.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are. So
cool.
So it was a good, man. It was a good episode. I really like this, guys. And remember, go back to that Penny episode, watch that. Go back last week and watch all of our episodes. I think they all tied together. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit the freaking subscribe button. It's really easy. You just press a button. I guarantee you're going to get some content out of it. I'm being a little bold today, but I've had some people, as Brent said today, and I'm voicing this, what he just voiced too, is we're getting more and more people like, hey, we love your content. How do you do this? The only thing that I really need help in, and maybe Brent has somebody to help me out of this, I don't know how to get this on Apple Podcast. And everyone's asking me to put on Apple. I don't know how to do that. So I'm an old guy that still rocks, but I'm technically challenged. So if any of you know how to take a podcast and get it onto Apple Podcast, please help me, because guess who doesn't want to help me? This massive company that has a bite of the evil apple. Help me out there. So if you know how to do that, reach out to me so I can get it out, so we can get this out to more people. So
awesome.
Any final thoughts for you before you run off and save the world of payroll?
As always, go make a damn difference.
Go make a freaking difference, guys. And we've been asked a couple of times, and Brent's pursued this as well, is, we are making a difference on this, and been asked a lot lately is, why don't you guys take this and start doing speeches? I don't know what you call it, seminars.
Yeah.
We can reach more people doing this right now. If that time comes, that's on God's plan. But right now, this is where he needs us to be. So we are going to get the heck out of here. Brent is going to go change the world of payroll. I'm going to go change the world of real estate. And we're going to leave you with some little bit of Van Halen. And is your life good enough? If it isn't, as Brent says, go make a damn difference and pursue excellence, guys. Have a great day. Thank you for support. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button. And most of all, God bless. We love you guys. Take care.